So now let's get back to modeling. And now we can go in here and start adding the divots. So we have 6 sides, and I'm going to start with the top, and we're going to start with 6. They call them pips. Those little dents or divots are called pips. So we're going to add these pips on the top. So I'm kind of rotating around to the top. Okay. How do I know I'm at the top? Well, you can look at this cursor right here, this little guy right here. This axis is telling you Y is up. Okay. And Z is the front and X is the sides. Z is front, X is sides, Y is up. So I'm going to go to the top here. Okay, I'm going to use, instead of just clicking on it, so I'm going to hit the F11 for face mode. So hit F11. Okay, it tells me I'm in my face mode. If I want to go back, I can hit F8. I'm going to, instead of just clicking on something, which if I hold the shift key, it will add to that selection. So if I click on a face and I hold the shift key down and I left mouse button keep clicking, I can click all of these faces that I want to create circles. Now I already know, because I've modeled this before, that when I do those kinds of selections like this, it may select stuff on the other side. And you can see that it does. Instead of just clicking on stuff, I like to do the paint select tool. The paint select tool is this guy right here. I'm going to click on paint select tool. Now you might see something like this. It may come in like that, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. If you're really close, you can see this is like, whoa, zoom out a little bit. And then hold the B key down, and while you're holding the B key down, click on your left mouse button and move it back and forth, and you can see it scales it down. We want it to be fairly small, like that. So when I'm zooming in to the model and I start selecting stuff, it'll be a lot easier to select. Now I already know if I try to select more than one selection, let's say if I do this and try to do circularize, it'll fall apart. It's just that the 6 it has a problem with. I don't know why, it just does. I'm going to hold the control key down and deselect these other ones. I'm holding the control key down, CTRL. Alright, so with this selected, I'm going to hit the Q key, and I want to do extrude. Or excuse me, I want to do circularize. So I'm going to hold down the space bar. We can go to edit mesh, and there is circularize. So circularize, I'm holding down the space bar. Circularize, I'm going to go into the option box. We're going to reset that, and we're going to click on circularize. Alright, so you'll see a couple things happen here. You'll see that it kind of made a circle from a cube, from the 4 faces we had, which is kind of cool. And that's what we want. And you'll notice that this thing popped up. This basically tells us what we have created. And there's all kinds of stuff we can add to this or change, but we don't want to, but you can. You can type in a 15-degree twist if we wanted to, but no, we don't want to do that. We want to leave it at 0. That's just rotating it. Radial offset, we have alignment to be automatic. That it lines it up perfectly to the center of the 4 faces that we selected. Add divisions, we can add more divisions, but we don't want to. If we do that, let's type in 1 and we do that, it's going to add a division right here. Okay, we don't want that because that'll give us an n-gon. Okay, we don't want to do that. So we're going to go back to 0. Alright, basically I just ignore that. I'm just telling you it's there, but if you want to make changes, whatever. But it's also over here as well under circularize 1. We're going to have to do 6 of these, so I don't want to waste any more time on this. So click off, hit the Q key, and off we go on to the next one. Click on your paint selection tool and just start painting this. And then now, since we've already done the circularize tool once, we can just hit the G key. G as in Gus. And we'll just do the same progression, hit the Q key, click off, and click on the paint tool again and select this. We only have to do this because it has a problem with the divots on the top part. The rest we can do all together. So just hang in there with me. So hit the G key, hit the Q key, click off, and continue this process of painting. Okay, G key, okay, click off, hit the Q key, and the paint tool again, and just paint and just do this. G key, hit the G key, click off, hit the Q key, and the paint tool, click on the paint tool, and then this is the only one we have to do this with, and hit the G key and then click off and hit the Q key. All right, so now we got the top all done. Now we can go to the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and rotate to the bottom. We have to select the center. Okay, if you get off, if you make a mistake, let's say you accidentally click that one accidentally, just hold the control key and click off. So we can just hit the G key. Now we've got the top 6, the bottom 1. If you add those two together, it makes 7. So now we're going to do 5 and 2. So how do we do 5? We're going to click on this guy right here, and we want to select this tool, and we want to hold the shift key down and select that. We're going to go down to the bottom and select that one. We're going to do the middle one, select that one. We'll do the side one, select that one, and the bottom side. So I'll just hold this like that so you can see it. I'm just rotating around so we can see it better. And sometimes I go around the back to make sure I don't have anything else selected. Ooh, you see that selected, so accidentally. So I'm going to hold the control key down and deselect those. We don't want to circularize that one again. So we're going to hit the G key, and that circularizes them all together, which is nice, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. So 5 on this side and 2 on the back side. Click off. Click on your paint selection tool, and we're going to do 2 on the back. So 2 on the back would be this one. Hold down the shift key, and we want to do this bottom one right here. We just want 2. There we go. Once you get those 2 done, hit the G key for circularize, click off, and now we got 5 on this side and 2 on this side, makes 7, so it's rotated around here. So this one we're going to do 4 and 3. So we're going to do 4 on this side and 3 on the other side. So I'm going to go to paint selection tool, select this. We're going to do 4 on this side, 3 on the other side. There we go. So 4. Okay, there we go. And hit the G key, right? And then we're going to do 3 on this side, click off, and then 3 on this side. 3 are going to be diagonal, okay? So go back to paint tool, select these 3, like that, and those 3 are done. I'm going to hit the G key. There we go. So let's go ahead and save this. Save scene as dice 1, and we're going to go ahead and do the paint selection tool. What we're going to do now is we can do this all together. So start at the top, and let's just hold the shift key down and select all of these round circularized areas that we created. And I'm going to go ahead, just hold down the shift key. I'm going to pause the video while I do this. Okay, we're back, and we've just selected all the circularized areas that we have created. Go ahead and pause the video if you need more time. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. Once you get those all done or selected, we're going to go ahead and extrude. So I'm going to use the hotkey for extrude, which is Control+E. We're going to look for the manipulator. We can see that on the other side. So let's get a little closer to that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right, so if something happens and when you do the extrude and you lose the extrude, you can always go Control-Z back and then extrude again. Just make sure you Control-Z back far enough. If you don't, then you're going to have faces on top of each other, because right now it's created faces. All right, so let me talk about this, the manipulator tool. Let's get a little closer so you guys can see it. So if I click on the arrow, it's going to move in. The arrows allow me to move. If you click on a cube and you scale it, it will scale. Okay, if you click on a cube and you scale on the inside, which this is what we want to do, you're going to create more polygons. Okay, and the idea for hard surface modeling is to create an edge loop that supports this edge. Otherwise, it'll be really soft looking. We want it to be a lot harder looking. And we'll talk more about that hard surface modeling another time, but right now we're going to go ahead and create this. So go ahead and scale that in. So you click on one of the boxes and you click on the inner box, and that will scale this in. Now if you notice, it will do it for all of them all over. All right. If for some reason that you click off and you want to get the manipulator back on again, you can click on the manipulator over here. I'm circling it. If that doesn't work, then you can go under inputs and select, you can click on that to see if it will bring it back up again. If not, you can always select all of them, and the thing is, it won't scale them like this again. A regular manipulator won't. This is a very special manipulator that comes with the extrusion, so once you lose it, you'll have to go in and select all of them again and extrude. So we've got it set up. Just don't click off anywhere. And we're going to do extrude again. So Control E once more, and we're going to click on the box, and we're going to scale that in one more time. So we have two edge loops that are scaled in. And now we're going to do Control E again, and we're going to move that in for the divot. And we're going to go ahead and click on the box again, and then we're going to scale that in like that. And you can see that we've got a divot there, and if I hit the 3 key, we can see how deep it is. So the 3 key gives us a smooth preview of what it will look like when we smooth this object. So you can kind of look at the top and see what that looks like. That looks pretty deep for those pips. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and pull that back out a little bit. I'm going to click on the blue arrow and pull that back away. And that looks better. Okay. So to really see this, I need to go into my object mode. So I'm going to go hit the F8 key. I'm going to click off, and now you can rotate. And congratulations, you created your high poly dice. So just look it over. Look for any ripples or anything that looks out of the ordinary that shouldn't be there. Just make sure it's clean. It looks good. I'm happy with what we have. Again, if you run into any issues, just let me know. Email me, or we can talk in class or whatever. But what we're going to do now is we're going to click on it, and that's a smooth preview, 3 smooth previews. Go to 1, click on the 1 key, and that gives us the low poly. So what we want to do now is we want to delete history. Okay, we want to get rid of all this history. So if you continue to just keep building up on that history, it will slow Maya down and might even crash after a while. So what I like to do is I like to center pivot. Let's go to make sure we're in poly modeling. Okay, this is the shelf, by the way. Click on center pivot, delete history, delete by type history, and then freeze transformations. And what we're going to do is we need to do a couple things. Let's go to, I'm hitting the space bar, or you can just do this, click on the panel layout. So what we want to do is we want to pop this up to this 0, 0 axes in the Y. So I'm going to hit the W key, and we're going to move this object up. Now remember, you have to be in object mode to move the object. Just hit F8 until you get the object turns green. We're bringing it up to the top and level it off right here. And you can zoom in if you want to, and I'll give you a little tip or a little trick that you can do. If you hold the Alt key and do the arrow up key, you can do 1 pixel at a time. So you can really get that really close. You can zoom in really close and hold the Alt key, and you can use the up and down arrows to move it 1 pixel at a time. So you can get it pretty close. Alright, so we're done. We are going to do a couple more things. So we're going to place the duplicate into a layer so we have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the control and then select the D key as in dog. Don't select anything else, and then click on under your layers, click on this guy right here. And what that's going to do is going to create a new layer and assign the objects that I selected into that layer. So I'm going to click on that. And it actually put that in there. So you can see that if I turn the V, which is visible, off and on, you'll see it disappear and then appear again. I want you to double click on the layer 1. We're going to name that layer Dice Original and click Save. Okay, go ahead and turn that off. All right, so then you got this duplicate underneath, and now we're going to go ahead and smooth that one. So let's go ahead and hold down the space bar, go to Mesh, and go to Smooth. And then you can type in, this will come in as 1, but I want you to, in division, next to division levels, I want you to select 2, and then click Smooth. Also, if you're in modeling, you can see here we got the different types. We got modeling, rigging, animation, FX, rendering. We want to be in modeling, and it's also up here. You can also select. It's the same as hitting the space bar. I like hitting the space bar because it's a lot faster. If you don't see exactly what I see, what you can do is hit the space bar and go to Hotbox Controls. Just click on it while you're holding the space bar down. You can go to Show Modeling Only. Okay, and that makes things a lot easier. And we'll talk about that in class too as well. So if you want to show everything again, hold down the space bar, go to Hotbox Controls, and go Show All. And that will bring all 4 of your modeling. You got modeling, rigging, animation, all that stuff. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add this to a layer. Let's go ahead and delete history. I want to get rid of that. So delete history. That's this little guy right here. And we're going to add this high poly to a new layer and call it high poly dice, or dice high poly, or dice high. Okay, again, you want to do an underscore. You can't just put a space. It'll give you an error. Go ahead and click on Save. So now we've got the high poly dice, and we got the low poly dice. Okay. All right, the low poly dice is just there as a safety net if you need to change things or you see something wrong or something happens. But we're going to actually work with this one now. So let's go ahead and save our scene. And this is what you're going to be turning in. All right, so I need a MB file, an FBX file, and an OBJ file. So I'll show you how to do that. So right now we're going to save this scene. We can save the object as an OBJ. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go to File. Now, if you don't see it, we're going to go Export Selection. Okay, so OBJ, you'll have to go to File, Export Selection. Go in here and find it. OBJ Export. If you don't see it here, what you'll have to do is you'll have to go to Windows, Settings, Preferences, Plugin Manager, and you'll have to load. There it is, OBJ Export. I have mine on. And FBX2 is in here too, so make sure you get that set up too as well. There it is, FBX to Maya. There we go. So there's FBX. All right, so once you get those loaded, you can now go to select it, And go ahead and export selection, and you can export it as an OBJ first. OBJ export. And just your name, first and last name. Always put your first and last name on everything. And dice. There we go. That's your OBJ export. And then go to File, Export Selection. We're going to do FBX. And you're probably wondering why I'm having you guys do this. It's because these are the two main industry standard file exports that you can bring into ZBrush, you can bring into an animation program. So FBX and OBJ are industry standard. And of course we got to save it as the native, which is MB file. So let's go ahead and do that one as dice too as well. So anytime you want to bring this into a different package, you can bring it in as FBX or an OBJ. So with that done, I'm going to go to File and Save Scene As. And this can be saved as an MB file. So I'm just going to call that. Again, you have to put your name on everything. JByers _ dice. Because we're finished, I'm just going to call it fin.mb. And there are your 3 files that you got to save out. In the next video, I'll show you how to get your renders out and your screenshots out. And I'll see you in the next video.